So, hi everyone, welcome back to our Built-in Public series. Today, we are diving into the Shardeum Explorer. It's a very powerful tool for visualizing blockchain data on the Shardeum network. So, if you ever wanted to see what's happening under the hood of Shardeum, from transaction details to the block information, this is the tool for you. So, let's get into what it does and how you can run it by yourself. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to add comments into the chat or you can ask in our open source channels. Firstly, let's discuss what the Shardeum Explorer is. It's a blockchain explorer that's tailored for the Shardeum blockchain. Blockchain explorers are very important tools for any blockchain platform. They basically allow you to view transaction histories, search for any wallet addresses, and understand the block details, all of which are very important for developers, node validators, and the users who are interacting with the network in a very transparent way. Think of it like a window into the blockchain. You can see how the blocks are created, which transactions are processed, and even the status of any specific wallet onto the network. It's very similar to the popular blockchain explorers you might have used before, such as Etherscan, but this one it's specifically customized for Shardium. Shardium Explorer, it helps you to view blocks. It allows you to see recently added blocks on the blockchain with details like what's the block height, timestamp, any transactions, the transactions overview. You can get specific information on transaction, including sender's address, receiver's address, what's the transaction hash, gas fees, and many more details. Address search. So if you're interested in a specific wallet, you can look it up to see its balance, transactions, and activity. Network insights, understand the health of the Shardium network by the metrics. For example, the number of nodes, what's the consensus state, and overall activity. So these are the features that provide transparency and a deeper understanding of how the Shardium blockchain operates. So that was very brief about what Shardium Explorer is, how it helps you. Now, in this stream, we will be learning how to run the Shardium Explorer locally. I'm going to take you through a step-by-step guide on how to set up the Explorer server. First of all, to run the Explorer server locally, we will need several other components like JSON RPC server, distributor, Shardium validator, monitor, and archiver, Explorer collector that will connect with the above distributor. So what we will be doing is we will first run the Shardium network using Shardus. So I have already done that to save the time. So I ran the command shardus start 10 that you might have learned, in the previous streams. So what it does is it starts 10 shardus instances. So as you can see, we have 10 shardus instances running, one archiver server and one monitor server. So in total, we have 12 instances running. And it's exposed at the port number 3000. So as you can see, we have all the 10 nodes in the active states. It takes some time to go from joining to standby to the active state. So as I mentioned before, to save the time, I have it already running. But if you are not sure how to do that, you can check our previous live streams or you can go through the README. It's simple and very clear. So now we have the archiver, monitor, and 10 instances running. Let's open another terminal. Okay, so we have the another terminal open. Now what we are going to do is we are going to start the JSON RPC server. What JSON RPC server does is it helps the developers to interact with the Shardium blockchain network. It allows the tabs to post request, retrieve any information, and other related operations using JSON RPC over HTTP. So let's do npm run install. I guess it's just npm install. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to install all the required dependencies. Now we have all the required dependencies installed. We are going to do npm run start. Also, one important information here, JSON RPC server. To run JSON RPC server, it's mandatory to have all your nodes in the active state. Even if any node is in the joining state or in the standby state, JSON RPC server won't run. So it's very, very important to have everything in the active state. So it's checking the health of archivers and updating all the node list. So now we have the JSON RPC server running. Let's start the relayer distributor. Let me open another terminal. Let me zoom this a bit. Okay. So okay. So let me give you a bit of background about the relayer distributor. It is basically made to provide you real-time network data. It reads every chunk of new data that's written, and this is from where the Explorer is going to fetch all the information. Before running it, we have to configure our distributor config.json file. So let's open this onto the Visual Studio Code. So as you can see, I have all the 4 projects cloned here. We are going to go to the layer distributor project, and this is where the file is. So basically for this, you have to update 3 flags. The first one is the archiver DB directory. So this is this is the path. So if you go into the main Shardeum repo, there is a folder called instances. Inside this, you have all the information. So this is where the archiver is going to write all the data, all the information. So it's very important to give the right path. So for the archiver DB directory, as you can see, this is the path, and I have this already here. What you can do is basically you can just go here and right click on this and copy path and just paste it here. And similarly for the data log directory, you have to do similarly, just go to like data logs, and this is where it write its all data. And make sure to set this flag limit to subscribers only to true. It's by default set to false, but to run it locally, it's mandatory to have it set to true. For locally running, these are the only flags that you have to customize. But if you are running it on production, or you have anything else customizable, for example, the distributor port or IP, make sure to update everything in the distributor config.json file. And additional flags and additional information is mentioned in the README. So just go through that. If something is unclear, ask in the open source channel. We are there to help you. So we have the distributor config.json file customizable. Now what we are going to do is we are going to back to our terminal, and let's do npm run install. Okay, it's npm install. Okay, so we have all the dependencies installed. Now let's compile it using npm run compile. Okay, So now that it's compiled, what we are going to do is we are going to open our Explorer. Okay. Let me also show you it on the GitHub. Okay. So these are the requirements that you need, and we were running the relay distributor before. Okay. Also, let's just start the relay distributor using npm run start. Okay. So it's the database is initialized and it's reading from the database and storing it from there. Now let's come into the Explorer server. So now that we have all the requirements that are needed, all the components are working and running, let's install dependencies using npm run install. It should be npm install. And you can read all the information here. What are the requirements that you need? How to start the Explorer. Also, make sure to update these flags, distributor info, collector info, RPC URL into the src config/index.ts file, but only if you have customized anything. By default, you don't need to update anything, and we are doing it locally, so everything needs to be remained as it is. We can use the default values. Now let's go back to our terminal and compile our update using npm run compile. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to start the collector server using npm run collector. Okay, so the database is initialized and log server sender is listening on the port 4444 and socket is also connected to the distributor. Let's open one more terminal and open the Explorer server there. Let's just keep it running. Okay, so now we have the data collector server running. Let's also start the API and the UI server. So the default port for this is 6001. We can change the port by providing the port number as an argument. We can also start multiple instances of the server by providing different port numbers. But for now, for this stream, let's just start single port using npm run server. So as you can see, it's listening on the port number 6001 and it's initializing and the database and everything. It just take couple of minutes to run. Let's just go here and see what's okay. So as you can see, we have the Shardeum Explorer running locally. You can see all the latest cycles here, and we have total accounts, total contracts, several different components. Um, just to give you a summary about Shardeum Explorer, first of all, it consists of three components. The first one is collector. It is responsible for gathering all the data from the distributor. Another component is API and the UI server. It provides all the APIs and a nice user interface for accessing the indexed data. And the third component is data stats aggregator. Basically, it aggregates all the statistical data for analysis and reporting. For this stream, I haven't started the data stats aggregator, but you can start it using npm run aggregator. So these are the main three components. And also this explorer, there are some required components without which it won't run. So make sure you have everything running before starting this explorer. You can find all the information here in the readme. You know, its components, we have its code files and everything attached here, what are its requirements and how to start. Now you have your own instance of Shardeum Explorer running locally. You can play around with it, experiment, and even contribute to the code base if you're interested in adding any sort of feature or improving it. Later on, Kenny is going to upload this video on YouTube, so feel free to check it out. And if you have any questions, just let me see the chat. Okay. So we don't have any questions, but if you are stuck somewhere, just feel free to message us on the open source channel. Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you all, everyone that joined us today. We do this every 2 weeks. So in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have another live stream like this where we're going to walk you through how to set up the LGRPC server for Shardeum. And we want you to give us your questions. If you have any questions about anything Shardeum related, open source related, some of the services that we've showed off today, you can ask us on the stream, or you can join us in the open source channel on the Discord server, and we can support you from there. Something else that we're doing coming up is we are going to be opening up a few good first issues that we would like to share in the open source channel, so that if you're interested in contributing to Shardeum in your own little capacity, you can take up any one of those issues and start hacking on it. We are, of course, always available to provide mentorship and support as you work on any issues. So expect that from us, as we'll be sharing some of those soon. And then, as promised, I want to be collecting everyone that attends our building public sessions. We want to give you some POAPs when we get to mainnet, right, as appreciation for supporting us and contributing to Shardeum. So I'm going to grab a link and I will share in the chat. And all you have to do is go there, put in your wallet address and submit the form, and you get a POAP. And we will grab that POAP for you. When we get to mainnet, you will be receiving it in your wallet. If there isn't anything else, can someone try the link first, and let's be sure that it works before we end the stream? Sonia, can you click on it since you're on stage?
It's working.
It's working? Great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope to see you again in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, if you have any queries, we are available on the open source channel to support you. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Shuam, for joining today, and we'll come back again in 2 weeks.